Hi, this is Daniel Hutchins, and today we're going to be talking about a Marvel Insider check-in. The Marvel Insider check-in of 7/12/21. So today's Marvel Insider is 7/12/21. I'm still a level elite. I'm 73,000 points and 64,000 points. Okay, so the last time I was on was the 9th, which was just 3 days ago. So now we are going to be talking about first Loki Episode 5 Event Report. I'm just going to read you the headlines. Okay, so Journey in the Mystery is what the name of it is. And again, it's totally inspired by the comic books. So, talks about the Void. It has Timekeepers, Renslayer, Miss Minutes, Hunter B-15, Hunter D-90, and Agent Mobius. Event Analysis, the Time Variance Authority, aka the TVA, operates business as usual, unaware that beyond the golden elevator doors through a quiet chamber lies the slumped, failed machines where the Timekeepers once proudly sat. The wreckage from the fight earlier still remains. Elsewhere, Loki takes on to desolate, mysterious, eerie wasteland surrounding him. The elder Loki taps Loki on the shoulder, quickly saying, "This is the Void. That is Alioth, and we're his lunch. Come on." So the end of time or deception. So back in the Judge's time court, the Renslayer first took a look at young Sylvie long ago. The variant demands Renslayer's tempad to know who really has controlled the TVA. Just in the dark, as Sylvie Renslayer bargains with information about when she actually sent Loki, and still alive for the time being, in exchange for her life, she pleads with the variant that they're both after the same things. She wants to know who is on the top and who lied to her about the whole reality in the first place. But explain into mechanics of what happened with the TVA, prune a bunch of the timeline, and it's impossible to destroy all its matter, as solve as they branch reality in the place of the timeline where it no longer grows. It's not resets, but transfers to a void at the end of time. The voids is where every instance of existence collide in at the same point and simply stops. Renslayer explains the dogma event that states that the end of time is still being written, and the Timekeepers are transforming it into utopia. Whether Sylvie believes her or not, one thing that's certain is that it has nothing comes back from there. Giving her the benefit of the doubt, Sylvie returns the tempad to Renslayer. Then there's the Void. As the 5 Lokis trek across the Void, Loki asks, "Can you pause so he can ask us several thousand questions," to which the classic Loki retorts with a no. They have to keep moving in order to not die. Frustrated with the simple plans to not die, Loki stops the 4 other variants and yells that we need to start providing him with explanations to what's happening. He had no idea how long it's been since New York. After being pruned, he woke up to a strange new land surrounded by variants of himself. The least bizarre event is that they're accompanied by an alligator. He shouts that he needs to find a way back to TVA, causing commotions, and loud growls roars across the sky. Alarmed by this, Kid Loki conjures a sword, knocking Loki down, telling him he needs to stop wailing in fear of attracting the attention of Alioth. Helping Loki back to his feet, Kid Loki explains to Landy where the TVA dumped him, rubbish, aka everything they've pruned. Pointing to Temple Beast in the sky, he states Alioth, who ensures that nothing sent here ever returns. Boastful Loki adds that Alioth is a living tempest that consumes matter and energy from the branch reality sent here. Simplifying the explanation, classic Loki states that the Void is a shark tank, and Alioth is the shark. Alligator Loki growls, to which classic Loki retorts that there is no such thing as an alligator tank. That's a bad metaphor. Classic Loki tells Loki that Alligator Loki's rather sensitive, just the whole lot, willing to accept that the alligator is a Loki variant. Loki wonders how there would be so many Loki variants. The elder Loki responds, because Loki survived, that's just what we do. Loki proposes creating the Nexus event, seeing as there are no temp pads around. Boastful Loki sneers that the TVA does not care what happens here in the Void, and the only thing they can do is just survive. Kid Loki declares they're done talking, they have to go. Loki asks the bunch why they allow the kid to command him. Classic Loki admonishes Loki, telling him that he needs to respect the Void, that this is his kingdom. Kid Loki's Nexus event was that he killed Thor, the man behind the curtain. Back at the TVA, Renslayer calls up Miss Minutes to help her and Sylvie assess some restricted files in the archives, specifically the beginning of the time in the founder TVA. Miss Minutes has displayed a look on a concern if Sylvie also requests the files to the end of time. Renslayer states that there's nothing there, just the Void. Sylvie questions, what if the Void isn't the end of time? What if there's something beyond it? Miss Minutes and Renslayer share a look as Miss Minutes continues her search through the archives. As Miss Minutes pulls up the timeline, Sylvie poses the hypothesis that since she was able to hide undetected from the TVA in the shadow of the apocalypse, where no divergent branches could emerge, there's possibilities that with the end of time still being written, that whatever happens in the new timeline, it would be impossible to start a Nexus event, therefore making you undetectable. Renslayer considers that beliefs that the only place that Loki and Mobius could possibly be. However, she states this would be impossible to get past the Void, since there would be nothing for a temp pad to lock onto, and going through it would be suicide. At the impasse, Sylvie states she no longer has the use for the judge, and from that statement, Miss Minutes interjects, and there is a prototype for a Void spacecraft, vehicle designed to withstand the Temple Void, so it could conceivably take them from the end of time for them to rescue Loki and find out who's behind this current. As they shake from it, Sylvie refuses to let go of Renslayer's hand, asking Miss Minutes where the files on the Timecraft were, realizing it was all just a rouse, with Renslayer stalling for time. As Miss Minutes dispatched a team of Minutemen for help, Sylvie knocked Renslayer back, grabbing her temp pad and rushing to hide behind the judge's dais. With the audience, Sylvie wonders if the judge for the moment actually felt betrayed by her beloved TVA. Debating her options, Sylvie turns the time stick onto the self-prune herself, and she vaporizes, and the Minutemen are stunned by this display. He who commands the throne. The Lokis approach the metal hatch in the ground, taking a ladder down, which leads to the entrance of the Loki Palace. In a fortress composed of pruned items, classic Loki requires why Loki wants to return TVA so badly. As the Lokis settle in, they trade war stories. Boastful Loki brags about how he vanquished both Captain America and Iron Man. He's able to claim his prize, all 6 Infinity Stones. Alligator Loki lets out a growl, while classic Loki translates as liar, livid, though boastful Loki states that at least in this Nexus event wasn't the result of eating the wrong neighbor's cat. As boastful Loki and alligator Loki growl, Loki and classic Loki rise to split the two variants apart. Kid Loki tells classic Loki to tell the others his story, which the elder does not think anyone wanted to hear. Loki tells classic Loki that he's interested, as he recalls from his file in the Time Theater. He states that they were supposed to die. Thanos killed them after Ragnarok. Groaning at the mention of Thanos, classic Loki reveals that everything that proceeded correctly in his entire life until Thanos attacked their ship. Loki asks if they can try to stab Thanos, and kind of the rest is just history. Classic Loki's stories has landed profoundly with Loki. Resolute of that, Loki puts down his glass and rises to his feet. He's going to find another way, the Void, to get back to TVA. He wagers that not only the good at surviving, but they're also good at escaping. Astonished by this, the Lokis question what makes him so different. Loki rejects that the notion, stating that he's the same as all of them. But there is another Loki out there, the female Loki variant. She's terrifying, which makes her so great. And she's the one that's different. Loki enthusiastically proclaims that she doesn't want to take over the TVA, she's just trying to take it down. With the others intrigued by this, Loki details his great escape plan in a dramatic speech. If Alioth, a living entity, is the only thing keeping him trapped in this void, then it could be killed, and he can plan to kill Alioth. And others just kind of have their own reactions. And then Loki leaves to enact his plan. A lone demon with the monster, as they laugh, echoes throughout the palace. As he exits through the hatch, Loki looks up, sees him surrounded by President Loki and his troop of bandit Lokis, all adorned with Vote Loki badges, which was a nightmare. So-called glorious purpose, Sylvie wakes up in an old school bus in the void. Taking her surroundings, she hears thunderous roars. As the Umbra begins, they engulf the bus. Sensing the doom, Sylvie takes off, running in menacing gloom. Tendrils burst through the vehicle, brief moments of contact, smoky tendrils. Sylvie's enchantment energy reveals a glimpse of something that's beyond void. The link is quickly broken. Temporary entity advances on her. Sylvie recognizes Mobius as the driver. Back at the Loki Palace, President Loki and his merry group of bandit Lokis, with a dejected Loki in tow, approach our first group of Loki variants in their hideout. Classic Loki feels betrayed that Loki foolishly led the wolves to the throne. President Loki quips that they prefer snakes to wolves. Kid Loki steps forward. Boastful Loki holds his weapon to younger Loki's neck as he apologizes to his liege, arrogantly proclaiming that he, the one that betrayed him, not Loki. Boastful Loki smugly claims the throne as the new king. Interrupting, President Loki advances the step as his troop readies. Boastful Loki yells and that they not hear the bargain they agreed upon. In exchange for the location of Loki Palace, shelter, and supplies, President Loki was able to offer him the army and his throne. Loki shares his head with disbelief and embarrassment at the other Loki variants. As President Loki restates the new terms, his army is thrown. Suddenly, his elite fighters brandish their weapons and turn on him. Appalled by his men and the presence of the alligator, President Loki screams, "Why is there an alligator present?" As boastful Loki, Kid Loki, Classic Loki shout that he's a Loki. Alligator Loki rallied charges at President Loki and bind his hand clean off. All hell would break loose. Loki's charge one another, fighting at the throne. As Loki, Classic Loki, Kid Loki, and Alligator Loki proceed to sneak out the palace, Classic Loki casts projections of them engaging in the brawl so that they can escape undetected, leaving boastful Loki behind. Dreadful bunch, furious at the barbaric turn of events, Classic Loki laments over the typical display of Loki depravity, the demonin. We're animals, we lie, we cheat, we cut the throats off those who trust us, for what? For power, glorious purpose. We cannot change, we're broken. Every version of us forever. Kid Loki's upset, he adds, and whenever one has dared to try to fix themselves, they're sent here to die. Loki explains that's why he needs to find a way out of the void. Nothing can change until TVA is stopped. Classic Loki questions if Loki really trusts the female variant, to which he replies how she's the only one who can trust. The only chance of stopping the bureaucratic organization. Rest assured that Kid Loki says that the testament is good enough for him. Classic Loki relents and says they will help him, however, approaching Alioth in death sentence so they can get him and help him to get to Alioth, but that as far as they will go. Riding in Mobius's car, the TVA agent expresses regretfully that they thought they were really the good guys. Sylvie doesn't believe them, and now in realities and orphan and little girls are typical heroic traits. Mobius believes the end justified the means and the counters, and she too committed atrocious acts. He apologizes for hunting her, dejected. To the moment of vulnerability, Sylvie reveals that she self-pruned herself, believing she would be able to find Loki, but with the treacherous Storm present, she fears that it's most likely already got him. All that matters now is getting out of this place and finding out who's behind it. To do so, she declares they turn the car around, head toward the cloud-like monster. As the Loki quartet advanced toward Alioth on foot. Suddenly, the USS Eldridge destroyer ship materialized in void. Navy men scramble aboard the ship. Loki believes Alioth and the other animal will feed on big meals. While distracted, they could sneak around the back. As he finishes the statement, Alioth has violently devoured the entire ship instantaneously. Stunned around it, they witnessed. Loki suggests they rethink this plan a bit more. As Kid Loki hears the sound of the car, they turn around. The Loki see a vehicle approaching around the horizon. Unsure what to expect, Kid Loki orders them to stand guard. Sully exits the car wheels and Loki sprints towards her. Loki expresses belief in the sight of his old friend Mobius. Confused, Loki questions what happened, how she ended up here, and arrived to get at Mobius. Sylvie remarks that she thought he could use some backup, causing Loki to sheepishly smile. As the remaining Lokis walk up, Loki introduces his friends to child Kid Loki, then them in the future, classic Loki, and them in the alligator Loki. Loki reveals his plan to kill Alioth, much to Sylvie's dismay, turning to the others. Sylvie questions what they all went along with his plan. Sylvie reveals her theory and what the person they're after is beyond the void at the end of time, and the Alioth is just a guard dog. Sylvie proposes to enchant the Temple Beast as Sylvie and Loki bicker. Loki looks to his friend for backup. Mobius chuckles at it too. Back to TVA, Renslayer is bloody and bruised. Hunter B-15 detained time cell. Hunter questions why she's locked up. Judge states that freed variant, disloyal to TVA, crimes deserve punishment. Incredulous Hunter B-15 questions how she's disloyal to timekeepers. They're not real. Renslayer does not believe none of it changes anything. TVA needs stability, not the truth. Renslayer demands Hunter B-15 reveal what drives the variants is revenge and killing the timekeepers. Yep. So then Renslayer exits the time cell, calls out Miss Minutes, requesting the files of the founder of TVA. Everything from the beginning of time, but Miss Minutes states that it's a tall order. The judge explains that whoever created this organization is in danger. Miss Minute pauses and then agrees to this request. Are you sure he's a Loki? So Mobius sits around fire with Kid Loki, Class Loki, and Alligator Loki. The group discusses whether or not Mobius remembers the alligator. The former TVA agent states the organization has arrested lots of Lokis. He's read every single file on the Lokis, but does not recall coming across alligator variant. So then they kind of question all about it, and then we're stronger than we realize. So then they try and take down Alioth, and for all time always, you can always check out Loki on Disney Plus. You can become a member of Disney Plus, and you can catch up on Loki if you haven't gotten a chance to yet. I highly recommend you check it out because there's lots of information on Loki right now in the comic book universe, since it is a very, very, very hot topic right now. So I'm going to be doing one more article, and then I'm going to close this up. Now it's just a matter of finding whatever article I want, and then just sharing it to you then. Alright. So now we're going to be talking about a comic book event. So, comic book event called Avengers Enter the Phoenix. So the planet-burning cosmic firebird known as the Phoenix Force has returned again. The world's greatest heroes and villains are drawn in the globe span in battle to become the new distant past of the 1 million BCE. One young girl's only crime was born with red hair. Her destiny was to change human history forever. Will this be the all-new Phoenix? Well, that's a good question. So then there's a reading order, books on how you read them. You start at Avengers 2018, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, and 44. So Avengers 2018, numbers 38 through 44. If you guys liked this content, please hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, that's okay. We all understand these things aren't for everybody. But again, if you love my content, please make sure you hit that thumbs up button so I know that you guys love my content. And again, like I said, so this concludes the video for the Marvel Insider check-in of 7/12/21. If you haven't gotten the chance yet to check out my other Marvel Insider check-in from recent, check that out on my channel. And again, like I said, like always, make sure you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you for the next one. Bye.